What's going on, guys? So yesterday I saw Shazam Fury of the Gods. I went to the early media screening of this film, and you know what? It was okay. I mean, I had a good time with it, but I do not think it was as good as the first one, in my opinion. See, for me, this film kind of suffered from sequelitis, where it tried to be a lot bigger than the first, if you know what I mean. Alright, so let's roll back a little bit. But firstly, can I just say that I quite like the first Shazam movie. Honestly, its smaller scale worked better there, and you know, it had charm to it. After about a day of reflecting on this new movie, I do not think the film captured the same charm it did as before, unfortunately. And again, I think that was just the result of them trying too hard to be bigger and and funnier with this one. This is a spoiler-free review, so I'm not going to talk too much about the plot, but all you really need to know is that it basically just follows after the first movie. So Billy Batson, aka Shazam, and his foster family are now heroes in their community, but then you have like a trio of these ancient gods that are trying to take back the magic that was stolen from them. So Shazam and his team have to stop them before they use it for mass destruction. Like I said, the movie is much bigger than the first film, and I think the film just, took on a little too much that it can handle. Alright, so let's talk about Shazam himself in this movie. In this movie, Billy Batson and Shazam feel like two completely different people. In the first movie, it was also kind of a stretch, but it's even more unbelievable here. Billy is supposed to be like close to 18 now in this movie. When Billy is on screen, and you barely see Billy, by the way, you only see him a couple times in the movie, but when he is on screen, he acts a little bit more mature and adult, which makes sense for his age. But then when he turns to Shazam, Zachary Levi still plays him like a 10-year-old. I feel like Zachary needed to like tone down his performance a little bit, because it felt like he wasn't playing a young teenager about to move into his adulthood. He was playing a 10-year-old. So yeah, when he does switch back to Billy, it's kind of jarring because they act so differently. It's like two different characters. However, I will say I did like Freddy, played by Jack Dylan Grazer. In my opinion, he was the best part in the first film, and he's the best part here too. I was way more invested in his character than I was with Shazam, honestly. But yeah, Jack gave a good performance here. The villains as well, Helen, Mirren, gave a chilling performance, and out of all three of these ancient gods, she was the best one. I understood her motives. Lucy Liu as Calypso, as like the second sister, wasn't as memorable in my opinion. I found her to be quite generic and one-dimensional. And then you have Rachel Zegler as Anthea. While she did play her part well, I also think her character was quite generic. There's this love subplot between her and Freddy, and yeah, while it was cute, it's the same, cliche, nerdy side character crushing on the hot villain subplot that you've seen loads of times before, so you know how it's gonna go down. There were loads of other side characters in here, but honestly I'm not gonna go through them all one by one, because honestly I don't care. I don't care. That none of them really left an impact on me. And I'm talking specifically about the Foster family, or the Shazam family. Yeah, so the Foster family are also now heroes alongside Shazam from the first movie. See, here's the thing. The fact is, them being heroes alongside Shazam is actually kind of a problem now. The family becoming heroes at the end of the first movie was great as a one-time end climax thing, but them actually keeping their powers into the second movie, it actually really lessens Shazam himself, because they all share the same power. Like, there really isn't anything to differentiate themselves, so it's like, yeah, Shazam himself isn't like as special anymore. You also have the wizard who comes back, and he was pretty good. I like the funny relationship he had with Freddy. That was kind of nice. But yeah, everyone else, really didn't do anything for me, honestly. I'm just going to wrap this up. The plot is also just kind of a bit of a mess. Because there's so much going on, it lacks focus. See, the thing is, yeah, it actually had some good setups. At the beginning, they set up the idea of Billy struggling to become a leader of his team. You also have Mary like having aspirations to like move on. And there's even like a setup for Billy having like a new mum who's like, trying to get used to, but isn't quite there yet. So yeah, really interesting setups, but these setups don't really pay off in the end, or at least in a satisfying way, in my opinion. It was also quite exposition heavy. Like, there were actually quite a few times where the heroes are just like standing in a room, explaining lore. I want to talk about the humor for a little bit. In this film was actually quite hit and miss for me. I will be honest, there were quite a few times where it did get a few good laughs out of me, not gonna lie. But there were also a lot of other jokes that did not land at all for me. And I'm mostly talking jokes regarding Shazam, because again, just felt forced with him, like he's trying too hard this time to be funny. It doesn't come across naturally. The visual effects were okay. The music, in my opinion, was nowhere near as good as the first movie. I remember the first movie score by Benjamin Wolfsbich had this like whimsical feel to it and a sense of awe. The score here just felt like another like generic superhero score. The action was okay. I mean, at some points it was pretty good, and I appreciate that the movie actually showed a good amount of civilians being attacked and actually killed. So yeah, it does get points for that. But with all that being said, would I recommend this film? Like, I would say if you want to see this film, I mean, you'll have some fun with it. But it's not something that you need to see ASAP, if you know what I mean. Like, I would say it's a good average movie to like stream or rent. But there's nothing amazing in this movie to where that you have to go see this like, as soon as possible. There's only really like one big spoiler in the movie. And Warner Brothers themselves spoiled it in one of their TV spots. Like, why would you do that? You idiot! Oh! There are also two after credit scenes, one mid credit scene and one after credit scene. The mid credit scene just basically like gives you some info regarding Shazam's future in the DCU. So in that sense it is important. Yeah, but the after credit scene at the end, I mean, you can watch it if you want, but I don't think it's as important as the mid credit scene. So yeah, overall it's decent at best, you know, had some good action, had some good performances. Freddy carried this movie, if I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, the plot is a bit of a mess. And Shazam himself just feels too childish for the age that he's meant to be playing, and his foster family are just too shallow to really care about. Also, I forgot to mention this, but there's this whole plot in the movie where they fully rip off the Simpsons movie of all things. Like, I just thought that was kind of funny and I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, anyway, that's basically my review of Shazam Fury of the Gods. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to like, subscribe and hit the bell. Make sure to follow me on Letterboxd, link in the description. But yeah, hope you guys have a good day and God bless.